Placing your own planetary bases and space stations in Elite Dangerous isn't something I'd ever expected to see. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. This is something that I'm very interested in seeing. Effectively, what we've got here is player-guided base building. This is all a part of the upcoming Colonization update set to be released into beta early next year. This is quite clearly one of the largest updates that Frontier have ever released for the game. It's a significant change that will fundamentally alter the way Elite works. And in Frontier Unlocked today, the latest livestream, the developers went through some details on how exactly this is going to work. So we're going to talk about all of that in this video. I was fortunate enough to get these details a little bit early thanks to the Elite Dangerous Partner Program. There's also details on the brand new ship, the Cobra Mark V, although that is coming in a separate video which should be available shortly after this one has been published. So, Colonization. This is a galaxy-wide mechanic that enables players to expand the inhabited bubble of human space. It will also allow players to colonize new systems and build facilities within them, therefore shaping the galaxy according to their own narratives and goal. That's what Frontier say, that's how they phrase this. Now, the feature does emphasize player-driven content, and it should give players control of how to develop the galaxy. Right here, we can see the arrival of the truly massive system colonization ship. This is one of the largest ships that's going to be in the game. But how do we get to this point? Well, players begin by purchasing a claim from a new system contact called the System Colonization Contact. This will be found in inhabited systems within the bubble. Claims for new systems can be made on uninhabited systems within a certain distance. Currently, Frontier think they're going to aim for around about 10 light years from the current system. Now, only one claim can be made at a time, and this is designed to prevent system block-in. Now, players will have to purchase a claim. There's no indication yet on how much this will cost. Frontier are not discussing numbers at the moment. At any rate, once players have purchased the claim, they will receive a colonization nav beacon. You then have 24 hours to travel to the claimed system to deploy the bacon to the beacon. Failure to deploy the beacon within 24 hours will result in the claim reverting, preventing land grabs or block-in. Now, after deploying the beacon, a massive colonization ship, which you can see right here, arrives in the system, and this is one of the largest vessels in the game. It's equipped with numerous large landing pads. It looks a lot like a modified fleet carrier. Now, at this point, players must deliver a variety of materials to the colonization ship to construct the primary starport. Now, the construction of materials will vary depending on the type of starport being built. The primary starport must be completed within a specific time frame to proceed. I guess if it's not completed, it's again going to revert. And the whole idea here, Frontier seem again and again to be very interested in preventing a system blocking. That's players just buying up systems to cause problems. Now, once the construction is complete, the starport is going to initially appear in an under construction phase. And this reminds me a lot of the very early concept videos traders that we saw in the early days of Elite Dangerous. Here's an example right here. This was one of the early traders for community goals when they first arrived. Now, the station will stay in that under construction phase for a while, and then on the following Thursday, which as many people will know is the server tick, the station will become fully operational. The colonization ship then will remain temporarily before finally departing. Now, at this point, players will be able to expand further. The colonization beacon will become a standard nav beacon, and a new system colonization contact will become available at the starport that was just constructed. Here, players can then make additional claims from this new system, thereby allowing them to daisy chain and expand further away into the galaxy. But for those of you who want to focus on the system you've just claimed, well, that will be entirely possible. System development is a thing, and the player who deploys the primary starport will become the system architect. These players will have control over the development within that system, which includes what facilities can be deployed. So again, I think it should be clear this doesn't appear to be, based on what we're seeing, full-on base building in the sense we see on other games. Instead, this is a player-guided base building. So yeah, you will become the architect of what happens within this star system. There's a number of ways that players will be able to do this. That will include deploying extra space-based facilities. So accessing the system map to view potential deployment locations, then selecting and constructing facilities such as ports or installations which were introduced back during the days of Horizons. Facilities also come in tiers, so building larger facilities requires constructing smaller supporting facilities first. Example tiers that Frontier have mentioned include small installations followed by mid-tier facilities followed by larger-scale spaceport, for example Orbis space stations. And then there's planetary facilities. So for planetary development, players can kind of do a few different things here. They can fly over the planetary surface to find the ideal location in which they want to situate their bases, and then from here they'll be able to choose the exact deployment sites and orientations of these facilities. They'll then be able to build various types of settlements which will include Odyssey and Horizon facilities, both of those types. Now, ground-based construction sites are established requiring material deliveries similar to how it works with the spaceport facilities. And yet, for those of you still paying attention who haven't disappeared just yet, I do realise I'm looping the footage here. Unfortunately, this is all the footage we have at the moment of this system, but I thought you'd rather keep looking at this footage rather than some more generic footage. At any rate, economy and population effects. Facilities within these star systems will influence the system's economy and the system's security. Building mining facilities, for example, to boost the local mining economy. Agricultural installations enhance agricultural output. Certain facilities can also increase population or alter security levels. Examples here are creating an anarchy system. Now, the more facilities that are built within the star system, the stronger its economic drive will be, and this can lead eventually to a fully functioning economy. So, yeah, that's colonization, but it doesn't just stand on its own. Colonization is going to interact with other parts of the game, and this includes power play as well as the BGS, the background simulation. How is that going to work? Well, when it comes to power play integration, the colonization process, Frontier say, is going to be seamlessly integrated with power play. Very curious to see how that one's going to work, but as power play is already a part of the game, well, it makes sense that it would work with the new systems as well, doesn't it? So initially, new systems which are not controlled by any power, but they still will be subject to player influence. Powers, however, can eventually contest and then take control over these new star systems. When it comes to the BGS, the faction from which the claim was originally purchased will be brought into the new system. So it's in their interest to kind of sell you the system because those are the system faction that will take control. Now, players can also introduce their own factions apparently, which will affect the BGS and the system control dynamics. So that's also something that I'm very curious to hear more on. No more specifics on that, at least as far as I understood in the information I've gotten. If Frontier have spoken more about this in the live stream, do let me know in the comments section. Everything I've discussed so far is based on the information I've received, which should theoretically at least be exactly the same as what Frontier have discussed during the live stream. Now, player roles and control. We know already that players can become a system architect, and these system architects will have significant influence over what facilities are built within their system and the economic and security direction of that system. In that essence, they will become, true system architects. Other players, however, can participate in delivering materials to the construction sites, as well as shaping the system's development through collaborative efforts. And I guess that's where power play will also come into the situation, along with the BGS. Now, there are some additional details I'm sure you're curious about, for example, material delivery and construction. So construction facilities require delivering specified materials to construction sites. I suspect that these will work a little bit like community goals and things along those lines. The material requirements are going to vary based on the facility type and the facility tier, as we've mentioned already. A little bit of a summary again here. Strict time limits are going to be posed on all of this, preventing blocking the colonization process from others. The primary starports also must be completed within the designated period to proceed. Now, there are limitations here. Only one active claimer per player at any time. Players can be the system architect for multiple star systems, but only after the initial claim has been completed. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there is going to be a full beta for this. The system colonization feature will launch into beta early 2025. And the whole idea here is to allow for player feedback and for balancing. So yeah, this is exactly the approach we want to see to an update like this. The developers have said that they aim to adjust the mechanics based on real player data. Now, obviously, I know a lot of people here are going to be concerned, like I am as well, about how much of a grind is going to be behind this. Hopefully, Frontier don't go too excessive with this as they have in the past, and instead that they're willing to kind of tread that line between being too easy and too grindy. Obviously, it is a balancing act. So when it comes to balance, specific numbers here, costs, requirements for materials, all of that is going to be fine-tuned, which means that Frontier can't discuss any of this at the moment, because whilst they might have an idea of how they want to approach with this, they won't know for sure until that beta commences. So there we have it. That's pretty much all the information we currently have about the system colonization update that's coming early next year. Do let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, don't forget there is another video I'm going to be releasing shortly after this one. It may even be available as you've watched this one now on the new ship, the Cobra Mark V. That's going to be a very nice looking ship. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Thanks again, and do take care. I'll catch you next time.